Hey, welcome guys. In this video we're doing a review of the Amazon Fire TV Cube. Before going any further, I want to mention that this device is pretty terrible. If you don't believe me, look at all the poor feedback this device has received on Amazon.com's actual product page for this device. It's plagued with numerous bugs, my unit included. Some issues are like the AI assistant doesn't listen at all, the sound control randomly changes without notice, and other people have experienced the same problem as me, and some even more. Video freezing, for example. The more you use it, the worse it gets. Honestly, you could do much better looking at another device. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if I just saved you a bunch of time from watching the remainder of this video. For everyone else, let's continue this unbiased review and you'll understand better what problems I'm referring to. The remote control feels just okay in the hand, but is somewhat flat. The big plus is that all the buttons can be easily reached with your thumb. Also note that there's a button in the top to activate the AI microphone, so that the device will be listening to your commands. There are some AI control buttons on the top of the cube, which is typical of what you would find on any other Echo device, such as volume up, down, microphone on off, and the action button. It's also on the top where you'll find all the AI microphones always listening for your commands. On the back there's a micro USB port, but it does not provide output of power, an IR extender port, which I'll get into shortly, HDMI port, and power port. The cube is a lot smaller in person than it looks like on the internet in pictures, which means it's even easier to conceal among your home theater devices, which is great. It also looks modern, fresh, and also kind of a cube spin-off of other Echo devices. So inside it's rocking a quad-core processor at 1.5 GHz, 2 GB of RAM, a Mali 450 GPU, and 16 GB of internal storage, which is pretty good because you can download additional apps, which I'll be demonstrating later. Now you can connect an external storage device using a micro USB on-the-go cable because it has a micro USB port at the back, as long as you give the device permission through the software. Included in the box is an IR extender blaster, which is roughly 8 feet in length, and an Ethernet adapter. Nowhere on the internet is it listed how much power this device consumes, but on the power brick it lists 15 watts. As for the power cord, it's about 5 feet in length. This device does support Dolby Atmos 7.1 surround sound and HDMI audio pass-through up to 5.1 channels. It does support Bluetooth, as the remote control is actually communicating through Bluetooth technology, as well as the AI Assistant app, which is available for iOS and Android for additional remote mobile control. Additional use for the Bluetooth allows for listening to audio through Bluetooth connected headphones for private listening. So I'm not going to play any copyrighted videos because YouTube has a scanning technology that can block it and mark it as copyright infringement. But what I want to do before I go over the rest of the review is go through the bugs that I've encountered, as well as other people on Amazon.com have encountered, so you guys have a real understanding of the problem. So for starters, this is the biggest kicker for me, and a lot of people on Amazon.com have mentioned the same problem as me. If you call the AI assistant, it doesn't do anything. Show me some comedies. And that's it. It's just going to stick there. As you can see, the blue bar at the top of the screen, the blue bar on the cube itself is waiting and listening. It does nothing. And once I left it for 20 minutes, no results. The only way to exit this is by pressing the home or back button on the remote. You can try it again. What is the weather today? Again, nothing. It works just fine on my Echo Dot. It's just this device that other people and myself have this issue with. Now, if I use the remote control and the voice searching navigation, it does work. So for example, show me some comedies. Now this defeats the entire purpose of hands-free, but it still doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So I can search movies and TV genres and stuff, but what if I did this? What is the weather today? Again, this is through the remote control. It searches what is the weather today based on apps, movies, and TV shows. The AI assistant does nothing. It's absolutely useless. For some users, it's worked for about a day or 1 hour before they have the same debunk function as me. Now, I've actually factory reset this about 4 times, and I've used someone else's Amazon account to log in and test it. Same problem. It has never been fixed. I have no idea if Amazon is ever going to fix it with a patch update, but I highly doubt it's going to be anytime soon. Another weird issue I had is that the sound used to work just perfectly through my sound bar, and randomly decided to change functionality on its own without me doing anything. So if I go here, so initially it was set to this. Randomly the sound stopped working and it switched to this. I had to manually switch it back to this in order for it to work. Again, another random bug that this device has in terms of the software. Some other weird things I've noticed is if you go to, say, just for example, applications, you see that there's a subsection. These are the featured apps, these are the games, and if I go to categories, nothing. It's just blank forever. So remember, I've been testing this for about 2 weeks and I found all these bugs. If I use it for a month, it's possible I could end up getting more. So be wary. There's a good reason a lot of people on Amazon.com are complaining about this device. But to continue on, you have the core function of navigation at the top. So you have the search, you can go to home, your videos, which is just basically recommended content, movies, TV shows. But the navigation is a little weird because I can't find a Prime TV application anywhere. What I noticed is that in order to get a lot of the content to just browse through, not search, but just browse, I have to go to movies or TV shows, and that's where you get a majority of the Prime content, which isn't really the best spot to put it. It's kind of weird. You would expect it to have a Prime TV app just like Netflix or Plex. Makes more sense, right? But using these apps, say if I open Netflix, for example, for the most part is pretty quick to use. I just recently closed this and reopened it, that's why it's pretty quick. Generally though, it takes Netflix about 10 seconds to open, which is not bad. And again, this is a media player that supports 4K HDR content, so the quality is fantastic if it's supported by the application like Netflix or some Amazon content, for example. Amazon content, again, works fantastic, flawless, great quality if it's in 4K, it looks stunning and fantastic. That also depends on your TV or display as well. I'm really pleased that Plex is available, and it does play files that are in MP4 and MKV file formats in 4K with H.264 or H.265 compression. And the processing power is pretty good. It's not as good as the Nvidia Shield, but that's an exceptional media player. This one does an okay job. The weird thing is that I constantly have this issue, no servers found. Even if I switch to my Nvidia Shield, it works just fine. If I switch to my computer and use the web browser client, it works just fine. The Fire TV Cube has this problem really often. It randomly just will not want to find the server, even though it's online and working on other devices. And the Plex bug turned up after a week and a half of usage. They just keep piling up. They keep coming out of nowhere. Another odd thing is that the YouTube app doesn't actually exist. It's going to a youtube.com TV site. So when you first open this for the first time, it'll ask you to load Firefox or Silk browser. And then from there, I'm noticing that it's opening in one of the browsers, but it looks almost identical to the typical media player YouTube app. But there's no actual YouTube app installed on the media player itself, which is weird. Overall, the YouTube app does work, but it's just not as seamless and smooth as a dedicated application would. Just going through these sections, there are categorized pretty well on the homepage, unlike the way Prime TV selection is listed. I mean, there's a huge amount of selections, it just keeps going on and on. But finding a certain application if it's available for download isn't easy. So on an Android TV media player, for example, you have access to the Google Play Store, so you can just browse on and on and on. With this, you can't really do that. You have to kind of search for it. Because if you go to the app section again, you have featured and games. You can't go through everything that's available. So if you're looking for a certain application, you're just gonna have to use a search function and hope that it exists. Overall, I have to say this is an incredibly disappointing media player. Despite its great price tag and the features it's advertised to have, it doesn't perform at what it's supposed to do. Now, if it did do all that performance at the price tag it sold at, it would have been a fantastic device. But the AI assistant works horribly or almost never, and it's not just me, dozens of people have said the same thing online. And not only that, it seems to get more bugs the more I use it, again, like other people online have mentioned. So do yourself a favor, it's just not worth the time and money, and even though I'm a huge fan of Amazon services, this is a huge disappointment. So I hope you guys found this video useful. Be sure to check out my social links in the video description. Hit that like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.